These days, reviewing a Huawei phone is an exercise in extreme aggravation, let alone using one constantly. Early in 2019, the phone manufacturer was sailing on a stunning Android wave. With the P30 Pro, Huawei seriously challenged Samsung's market dominance and produced one of the best smartphones ever. After almost 4 years and one US trade embargo, Huawei's smartphones still struggle to function properly due to a lack of native Google app and service support and a shortage of 5G modems. That does not render devices like the Mate 50 useless, far from it, but it does make it difficult to operate them similarly to an Android device. The phone was sent to me, and I experienced it for 1 month. I would like to share this simple experience report with you. The charging kit is included in the box, so it looks bigger. The appearance is still the same as the previous Mate series style, and the dark black looks very calm and atmospheric. The protective case on the outer layer of the phone should not be plastic, but it feels like recycled paper. It includes a charging kit. Those who buy the Mate 50 series should be old users. The old charging kit at home can also be used, but the power is not so high. The back of obsidian black is bright glass, instead of the AG frosted glass that has been popular in recent years. The lower part is Huawei's golden logo, and the upper part is a circular video module, which is decorated with a circle of gold borders around the video module. The integration is still relatively strong, the shiny glass sticks to fingerprints very badly. The front is a straight screen with a hole in the center, the frame is well controlled, and the visual perception is very integrated. The power button and volume button are on the same side of the phone. The power button continues the previous red appearance. The Mate 50 as a whole continues the excellent workmanship and texture of the Huawei Mate series. It is recognizable, aesthetically pleasing, and has a sense of appearance. It belongs to the kind of appearance that people can recognize at a glance that this is a Huawei Mate model. The overall feel is light and has a good grip. The most criticized screen of the Huawei Mate series has been greatly improved in this generation of Mate series. The press conference did not clearly state the supplier of the screen, but as we all know, Huawei is a loyal customer of BOE, and this is of course a screen supplied by BOE. The screen size is 6.7 inches OLED. The visual perception is relatively transparent. Even under the all-white background, the overall white balance is very uniform, which completely gets rid of the defect of color imbalance in the white background of BOE screens in the past. The color expression is also good, it looks very natural, the display effect is very delicate, the edge of the font does not appear blurred, and it supports global color management. The 1440Hz PWM dimming supported by the whole series is really well received. Judging from the experience of the past 1 month, the perception of eye fatigue is significantly reduced when using the phone in dark light. In order to widen the gap with the Pro version, it is a pity to only adapt the refresh rate of 90 Hz. Everyone knows the reason why there is no unicorn. However, the research and development of Kirin is still going on, so we will not be caught off guard when the ban is lifted in the future. Let's wait for the 3nm Kirin to come out. After all, Kirin chips are the soul of Huawei phones. The Mate 50 series all use the TSMC version of the Qualcomm 8 Plus Gen 1 processor with 4G. Now, how many chips Huawei wants to purchase, even if it is Qualcomm 4G chips, how many chips it wants to prepare, the right to speak is not in its own hands. TSMC's version of the Qualcomm 8 Plus Gen 1 has good market feedback. On the basis of ensuring performance, it has improved heat generation and power consumption. Huawei's models have always been adapted to Kirin chips. Under the adaptation and adjustment of Qualcomm chips, it is still continuing effort. But Mate 50 performed well during 1 month of daily use. When watching videos, using daily shopping, and social apps, there was no obvious heat lag, and the whole phone ran smoothly. You cannot access 5G, since Huawei is only capable of 4G networking due to trade restrictions. Although it's not the end of the world, it would be good if a phone you spend over $1,000 on was future-proofed for when 5G really takes off. Despite this, performance for my use cases which, to be honest, don't really push the phone to its limits is superb. To check that, I launched a few top-tier mobile games, such as Genshin Impact, and they worked without a hitch. With the Harmony OS 3 adapted to the phone hardware, I further improved my ecology. As far as my experience is concerned, I am learning from the entire iOS ecology. For example, the smart scene set on a certain model will be synchronized to the same Huawei account to log in. On all devices, there is still a big gap with iOS. The smart scene I set up myself, the dark mode is automatically turned off and on with sunrise and sunset, and it often fails. There is no problem with the operation of the system itself. It is basically a seamless transition with the previous EMUI, and the transition animation is also very smooth. Multi-screen collaboration is very practical for many office personnel. Hyperspace compression is very practical, especially for those duplicate files, pictures, emoticons, etc. in WeChat. Duplicate files only occupy one space, which greatly solves the problem of bloated volume caused by duplicate files in WeChat. Google apps and services cannot be fully operated on the Mate 50 natively. This is due to the fact that software that fully supports the services cannot be used with Google's version of Android. You must download apps from Huawei's App Gallery App Store, since the phone does not already have the Google Play Store set up. The problem is that App Gallery doesn't have the majority of the programs you're looking for. Also, this is a rather spammy site with a lot of full-screen advertisements, which is not what I would expect from a device this pricey. You'll be alright if your only usage of applications is TikTok, Telegram, Snapchat, Tinder, Microsoft Outlook, WeChat, and Deezer. You can look for these programs through Huawei's own pedal search app or the App Gallery. The latter returns a confusing listing page for potential APK files to download in order to install the apps from a different source. This is permitted by Android and is lawful. It is known as sideloading. The issue is that sideloading has a poor user experience. Additionally, security is a concern here. Huawei claims that it monitors the APK that a system displays to you and that it runs security checks on files before downloading them. However, without the assurance that these files have been deemed secure by an App Store infrastructure, you'll still need to take care not to install anything questionable. It is possible to get the apps you want for this phone, however the process is complex and not pleasant to use. Using APK downloads, I was able to successfully use Twitter, Instagram, Libby, Facebook Messenger, and Netflix. I was able to sign in, they functioned, and I received notifications as usual. As there is a delay between the app developer uploading an update to the Google Play Store and that updated APK going available, app updates are also handled automatically, though they occasionally take a bit longer. To receive those updates, however, you must make sure that pedal search notification rights are enabled. Aside from the apps, the phone's software is pretty appealing and uses its own system font, as opposed to the Google Roboto font that most phones use. To open programs without entering the folder, you can make appealing widgets and organize apps into sizable home screen folders. If you choose to utilize Huawei's native apps for messaging, contacts, weather, and cloud storage, they all function as you would expect. Pedal Maps is actually quite nice. Even if you have to go all out with Huawei products in your life, I do like how you can connect the phone with a Huawei laptop or tablet for simple file sharing and screen mirroring. Funny enough, the Mate 50 is likely the greatest smartphone available if you want to disconnect from Google. For everyone else, it is irksomely constrictive and behaves differently than how Android is intended to. The small function of the Super Transfer Station is also very popular. In the daily use of phones, drag the information, files, pictures, links, etc. you need into the Super Transfer Station, and you can use and share these materials across applications and devices. The 4G network speed that everyone cares about, some so-called self-media on the network, promotes that 4G is faster than iPhone 5G, just take a look. To be honest, Huawei officials have never said anything similar. The Mate 50 uses Unicom card, and the iPhone 14 uses a telecom card, so I chose the speed measurement node corresponding to the operator. The same 4G package, Mate 50 can only run 4G network. The current 4G network speed is just like this. I remember when the 4G network was first launched, it was easy to run up to 150 megabits per second. Now it is almost cut in half. Downloads can only go up to 56 megabits per second, and uploads are 14 megabits per second. Looking at the 4G package of the iPhone, even if you have a 4G package, you can still run the 5G network. The premise is that there is 5G signal coverage. Now the first and second tier cities, and even the third and fourth tier coastal cities, have wide 5G coverage. The 5G speed of the iPhone can run up to 270 megabits per second. The upload speed will not be used as a reference. After all, few people use phones to upload large files. After the cooperation between Huawei and Leica expired, it did not renew. At present, Leica has been taken by Xiaomi. Huawei launched the X-Mage image, based on its technical accumulation and experience in the imaging field over the past few years. The main camera is a 50-megapixel super optical zoom camera IMX766 focal length 24mm. The ultra-wide angle is a 13-megapixel camera focal length is 13mm, and the periscope telephoto is 12 megapixels focal length is 125mm. The main camera is equipped with an f1.4 aperture. In the professional mode, the physical aperture supports 10 levels of adjustment. Those with strong hands-on ability can adjust the aperture size according to their own needs, to find a depth of field mode that suits their needs. Let's take a look at the samples. Let's first look at the performance under sufficient light during the day. The imaging speed of the phone is still very fast, the autofocus is accurate, and the output of the film pays more attention to the restoration of the color, and the detail expression is still good. The picture looks very clean at a glance, and at the same time, it has made some beautification to the color of the picture, which is more pleasing. The expressiveness and analytical power of scenes with complex environments are also good, and the layering of the picture is fully displayed. When it comes to the large aperture mode, I don't recommend beginners to try the manual physical aperture. The manual aperture is more suitable for professionals. For casual shooting, you can use the virtual aperture. Through the artificial intelligence algorithm, the subject of the film can be highlighted, and the background blur is relatively natural. Looking at the telephoto, the Mate 50 is equipped with a 5x periscope telephoto. In my real shooting process, I feel that this telephoto will only be called when it is zoomed to 5x. The previous multiples were all cropped by the main camera, because in the 2x and 3x photos, the loss of image quality is obviously seen. In low-light environments, we must rely on Huawei's night scene mode. The bottom of the IMX766 is only 1 per 1.56, and the iPhone now has a bottom of about 1 per 1.28. Mate 50's night scene requires a longer exposure time, 3 seconds. The exposure time can produce relatively good quality photos, but sharpening and a little smearing still exist. Even if the night scene mode is not turned on, the Mate 50 can still take good night scene photos through the AI algorithm, which looks more natural. Of course, the details of the objects are not as good as the current large-bottomed high-pixel phones. The super macro mode is good. It won't use the super wide-angle lens anymore. It should be the main camera lens, and the ultra close-up shooting picture will not be blurred, and the details are very clear. In terms of video, after years of precipitation from the Mate and P series, Huawei still has solid things. It is not easy to polish the IMX766 like this. With a 4460 mAh battery and a deeply optimized Harmony OS system, this Mate 50 can support a full day of normal use without any problems at all. At the same time, it supports 66-watt wired fast charging and 50-watt wireless fast charging, and the overall charging speed can also solve your battery life anxiety. IP68 is of course also standard. The Huawei Mate 50, which was updated again after 1 month, has significantly improved the screen quality, and the new X-Mage camera performance also meets expectations. In addition, the texture and workmanship are still at the same Mate level as before. Unfortunately, the Kirin chip and 5G are missing. If you are currently holding a Mate 20 series phone, there is no problem with upgrading, and the experience will be significantly improved. If you are currently holding a Mate 30 series 5G phone, or even a Mate 40 series phone, you can consider continuing to nail it and wait patiently for the return of 5G. After all, the speed of 4G is really getting slower and slower. Thank you for watching this review. I hope it was useful for you. Write your opinion in the comments below. Have a nice day and see you soon.